The amount of reports that have come out regarding Bruce Brown and a potential Toronto Raptors trade has been crazy over the past 24 hours. So, we're going to break down everything that has dropped, as there is a ton of teams that are interested in acquiring Bruce Brown ahead of this year's trade deadline. It seems like the Raptors' asking price has also been revealed, and the Raptors at this point now have a lot of leverage in comparison to what they had regarding Pascal as well as OG Anunoby. The team does have a club option on Bruce Brown's contract and is sort of a player that could fit seamlessly with teams all across the league. So Masai Ujiri is looking to potentially cook, potentially not if the offers aren't coming that are correct. So lots of stuff to dive into in this video. Before we do, folks, again, over 57% of our viewers are not subscribed to the channel. So it would mean the world to me if you guys could hit that subscribe button as we continue to sort of deliver all this latest Toronto Raptors news. Don't want you guys to miss a single thing as we inch closer and closer to this year's trade deadline. Back in the studio now here at this point, was traveling from New York, a hectic day yesterday, and while everything that sort of dropped, we're breaking it all down in this video. A lot of news has come out regarding Bruce Brown. So let's just jump straight into it. The first thing that sort of dropped is the Raptors asking prices. The Raptors are asking teams that are interested in acquiring Bruce Brown has been described as a future first-round pick as well as a quality player at a minimum. And that might be something Raptors fans look at and say, okay, that's a pretty intriguing asking price. Getting another draft pick, which again, Masai Ujiri's entire press conference, he went back to the word flexibility, being able to sort of adjust the assets, adjust what you kind of have in terms of your pocket, in terms of, being able to grow this team, whether you draft players with those draft picks or make future trades. Having a lot of draft picks is valuable in terms of what you want to do, and then see how your young players develop and see what needs are into the rosters. We see if RJ Barrett's jump shot improves, because again, if we have more of his shooting, then maybe you can get more basket-oriented sort of big man to fit this group or things like that. So the Raptors getting in a first-round pick as well as a quality piece, a quality young player, makes sense regarding Bruce Brown because, again, Bruce Brown is a guy that is a very good basketball player, but he might fit what the Toronto Raptors do, and we'll break down whether or not he stays in this video as well. But he's a piece that seems to be best utilized the way he was last season for the Denver Nuggets when they sort of put him around Nikola Jokic, allowed him to cut, allowed him to space the floor, allowed him to play elite defense, and they ended up winning a chip, and he was an integral piece to that roster. So him complementing, without an elite jump shot in comparison to other sort of wings across the league, right? He's not going to be the floor spacer that kind of Scotty and RJ need here now at this point. Obviously Scotty's improved as a passer. He's been getting a lot of turnovers as of late as the defense has really locked in on him now with OG and Pascal gone, from this lineup. So there's some growth happening there. But Bruce Brown isn't going to be able to knock the same way he would be with a team like the Denver Nuggets with sort of more teams in contender status. At least at this point, obviously the Raptors, I don't think want to be in a long and treacherous rebuild the same way the Pistons, the Wizards, these types of teams have been in at certain points. So, I mean, Bruce Brown is a guy that gets some value across the league, so that's the Raptors' asking price. But two teams in both conferences have emerged as serious trade suitors for Raptors swingman Bruce Brown Sunday evening are the New York Knicks in the East and the LA Lakers in the West. Now, we heard a lot of reports about Bruce Brown and the New York Knicks just a few days ago, especially late last week, almost immediately once that trade happened, with Bruce Brown immediately coming to the Raptors. So, again, we know what's happening with the Knicks. Knicks beat reporters are all over. We've made videos on that specifically. But, in the package, Quentin Grimes and a potential first, maybe a Hardenstein, if the Raptors don't want to tank this year. I mean, if I feel like the Raptors' approach to getting their draft pick this season is just running a lineup without a true front court or without a really established sort of front line. But you get Hardenstein, that would help this Raptors roster and potentially make a push this season. But again, I might be overzealous, over-optimistic about this Raptors group here now at this point. But the Knicks have some pieces, but the LA Lakers are a squad that it's interesting to me because they're trying to ship out D'Lo. They're trying to get rid of, Hachimura has been a piece that's dangled a lot in sort of recent weeks. And Shams of The Athletic also came out and said the Lakers are doing their due diligence on DeJounte Murray, Bruce Brown, Tyus Jones, and Terry Rozier. I'm told those are the names to keep an eye out on. So, there's more competition with the LA Lakers in terms of players that they're interested in, but in all the trade reports, speculations, I'm diving more into the Lakers stuff as of late with Lakers Digest and all that there. But Hachimura as well as D'Angelo Russell are two names that have been thrown out a lot in sort of Lakers trade rumors. We're not going to get an Austin Reeves, we're not going to get LeBron and AD or these types of guys, obviously, but Hachimura would be a really cool sort of acquisition for the Raptors. He's a younger guy, can space the floor, played really well in the playoffs for the LA Lakers last season. And I mean, they have a few future picks, right? They have 2027, I believe, 2029. So those are 2029 for sure. So you get one of those future firsts, maybe a couple seconds in there also. And then a Hachimura in there that plays defense. Darvin Ham loves players that sort of execute on the defensive end. It's the only way they get minutes in the Darvin Ham system. So, I mean, that's not a horrific package. Again, whether even though the pick's far off in the future, with AD and LeBron certainly aging, that pick could be extremely valuable, or a piece that you end up flipping in a season or two. So that flexibility will be maintained. You get a decent player back in a Hachimura or one of these guys. They have players like Max Christie as well. Jalen Hood Schifino, if you see sort of promise in them as prospects. Again, more guards to sort of be added to this group where the Raptors are pretty loaded at that position here now at this point. The Lakers, I'm not completely sold on all their assets, but I think there are some ways for one of those trades to actually go down. But what else is sort of coming out regarding Bruce Brown? The Denver Nuggets are also a team that would love to have Bruce Brown back, but they just don't have the picks to try to do that. That's something to keep an eye on down the road. So Chris Haynes is saying that the Denver Nuggets would be interested. I'm sure they're probably trying to make some offers, trying to get something going, but it's unrealistic for that deal to happen. So until we get more reports regarding that, we know their interest is there. Things can certainly develop as we've seen over the past few weeks, in a very short time span, but a team I just want to throw out there as a potential destination. But, this comes from Doug Smith at Toronto Star. The Raptors, will he be dealt ahead of this year's trade deadline? According to league sources, the calls on Bruce Brown started hours after the Raptors obtained the NBA champion from Indiana in the Pascal Siakam trade. So there's calls already happening. And then Michael Grange also said, that he's heard them, but is agnostic. I don't know anything. I'm not requesting anything. That's up to Masai. Whether he wants to do it, whether he moves me, or he moves me, if he doesn't, I'll stay. It is what it is. So he's been a bit sort of agnostic to a trade, as he potentially said. Again, he's probably not going to sit his roots down in Toronto very fast with all these rumors, all these reports going on at this point. He was asked directly about the New York Knicks as well as a team, and he said he loves New York, their style of play, and he thinks he's a Tom Thibodeau guy, that type of player. So, I mean, from his language, I like that he's sort of not requesting a trade, not demanding anything out, and he had a really solid game against the Bulls, for the Toronto Raptors' sort of debut. Again, wasn't too great against the New York Knicks. I mean, Bruce Brown is a piece that could be good for the Raptors, but he's sort of expecting a trade from his comments. He's being professional. He's willing to stay. He could be a valuable piece to this Toronto Raptors group. Masai Ujiri sort of addressed it in his presser that Bruce Brown is a guy that could potentially definitely be on this team. I mean, Ryan Wilstad basically came out and said that there's a big market for Brown, but Masai Ujiri has also coveted him for years. So it could go either way, but I'd bet he's moved for a first better than the 2 first-round picks the Toronto Raptors got in the Pascal Siakam deal. So again, it's not a sure thing that a deal is going to happen, but everyone, all the insiders, all the reporters are predicting that a deal is going to happen. And basically with the direction of this Raptors team, I think that's probably what's going to end up happening for this core group as well. So let me know what you guys think. Again, Bruce Brown would be a cool piece on this team, especially if we were a little bit further down the line of this sort of retooling that we're undergoing here now at this point, but definitely could get us some very valuable assets back as the Raptors have the leverage on him for the future. So let me know what you guys think. Subscribe to the channel if you guys haven't already. I'm signing out. Cheers.